Hello guys, this is What About Nintendo, and today I am here for another top 5 list. Last week we covered my top 5 favorite Nintendo consoles of all time, and in this week we are going to be covering my top 5 Nintendo franchises, otherwise known as IPs or game series of all time. So let's get right on into it. Number 5. Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is a series that I actually haven't played that much of. I haven't played any of the games except for New Leaf on the 3DS, and yet it's still one of my favorite Nintendo franchises of all time. And I was kind of the opinion that it wasn't very well known, but it's actually a very well selling series for Nintendo. It actually gets some really good sales numbers, and the recent mobile app also did really well. This is a game series where you can just kind of do whatever you want, be whatever kind of person you want to be, and just build up, your furniture, get your own kind of style, make your own home, the way you want it to be, and just hang out and just relax, do some fishing, catch some bugs, pull some weeds. Just kind of a game where you can run around, do whatever pretty much the heck you want, and just have a good, relaxed time. And I love those kind of games where you can just sit back and relax and just take your time, and it's got like this real-time element where days go by on a real-time cycle, which I like. It's always fun, when it comes around to the holidays and you get to, get in on those Thanksgiving holiday events and those Christmas holiday events and the, the Halloween holiday events. It's always really cool seeing all these real-life elements poured into this, and it's just a really relaxed, really fun time. So that is why it is my number 5 favorite Nintendo franchise of all time. Number 4, Super Smash Bros. This is a series I have played every single game of. I started out when I was very young playing Super Smash Bros. For the N64, the very first Smash Bros. Game ever made. It was amazing. Me and my family put so many hours into it. I mean, it had to have been 500 plus, maybe even 1,000 plus hours in this game. We just played it all the time. We loved the characters. Funny story, I didn't really understand what Smash Brothers was about. I thought it was just a kind of, some Nintendo characters, but some exclusive Smash characters. So I didn't realize that, Kirby had his own game, and Captain Falcon was from F-Zero, and, all this other stuff. I didn't know who Samus was. I thought it was a guy in a suit. I didn't know it was a girl from, the awesome Metroid series. I didn't know these things, and that was kind of the gateway of me finding out about a lot of these series and these characters was through Smash, which is this kind of Fire Emblem's whole, comeback story. It's just they put a character in Smash, and all of a sudden the game just exploded in America. So this is just a game, a series that I've just been playing my entire life. Like, literally pretty much my entire life I've been, playing this Smash Brothers game. Ever since I was 2, I've been playing Smash, and I can't wait till, Smash 5 or Smash Switch or whatever it ends up being comes out this year for the Nintendo Switch. It's an amazing fighting game with amazing characters that are very recognizable, and I just love all the new additions they had in the recent entries. I love being able to play as Wind Waker, Toon Link, because he's my favorite Link. He's actually my main in the game. I love just the cast of characters is amazing, though. It's well-rounded. There's so many good characters in there, and they cover so many game series. I just can't wait to see new games getting represented and new characters getting represented, and just what kind of wacky, crazy stuff we're going to be seeing down the road in Smash Brothers. So that is why it is my number 4 favorite game of all time. Number 3, Xenoblade. Xenoblade Chronicles is pretty much my favorite RPG of all time. It has my favorite story of any game ever made. The original Xenoblade is one of my favorite games of all time, and it just gets better after that. X, another great entry, maybe not as good on the story side, but with that open world, the gameplay and exploration I think was the best in this series. And then number 2 comes out with another amazing story on the Nintendo Switch, amazing battle system, the best battle system in the entire series, and cool open world elements as well, and amazing characters and great graphics. This is just a series that keeps on getting better and better better in different ways, and it's something every time they announce it, I literally jump out of my seat. I get all excited every time they show off this series. I just love RPGs. I love like fantasy worlds and characters and an amazing story, and so this series is just everything. Like when I used to play games, I used to play, you know, not very many story-driven games. I played Mario and Zelda and Smash and all these, you know, Animal Crossing. They don't have these big, massive stories. I didn't really realize that, you know, video game stories could be, you know, as good, as fleshed out as, say, a book series or a movie series or an anime or something like that. I didn't realize that video games had the potential to have that great story, but Xenoblade opened up my eyes to how well a story could be in video games, along with amazing characters and great gameplay all in one. So that's why Xenoblade is my third favorite Nintendo franchise. Number 2, Mario. Mario Bros. Is a game I've just been playing, the same as Smash. I've been playing this series my entire life. It's one of the first games I ever played was Mario 64. I love just running around and exploring the levels, even though as a young 2-year-old child I couldn't like do anything. Like, I didn't know how to play the dang game. I like barely stumbled around my way. Even when I was like 6, I couldn't really beat the game. I've never actually beaten that game because I haven't had the chance to play it when I'm actually a competent gamer. But it is one of the games that got me into gaming, and just I love 3D platformers now. That was my first 3D platformer, and I love 3D platformers now, and the series has evolved so much. You got Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on the Wii. Those were another amazing entry that had some really cool physics elements and space elements and like these gravity elements. It had these like really good story with the original that I thought was really, really cool. And it had just beautiful graphics, especially with the newest one, Mario Odyssey on the Nintendo Switch. Beautiful graphics and just amazing world design and just cool places you can explore. And every time they come up with a new entry, it's even more creative than the last one. I mean, look at Mario Odyssey. Look at how many transformations and cool nods to the original games, or the older games, and cool boss fights, and you know, it's got the wackiness to it that I always love, and creativity, and the levels, and the level design, and that platforming. It's just, there is no better 3D platformer than the Mario series. It just does not exist. There is no better 3D platforming series, and that is why Mario is my second favorite Nintendo franchise. Number 1, The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time was for the longest time my favorite video game of all time. In fact, either that or Mario 64 was my first video game I ever played, and I loved this game. The Zelda series just has an amazing atmosphere, amazing music, amazing games. I love puzzles, I love dungeons, I love medieval themes and magic elements to games, and Zelda does that so well. I love exploration. I've always been an explorative type of person. I just love, you know, finding woods outside. You know, you just go for a walk in the woods and you're just like, oh, what could be here? And I love doing that in video games where, you know, you could actually find cool stuff instead of just using your imagination. Not that imagination isn't great, but I want to see this cool stuff that I find. I just always loved walking around, and Zelda Breath of the Wild does this so amazingly. Breath of the Wild's exploration is just the best of any game I've ever played. I know some people are like, oh, with Skyrim, oh, but this. No, I've played Skyrim. It's straight up boring to explore compared to Breath of the Wild. Just the amount of creativity that they poured into that game, the amount of cool stuff you can do with physics, like the way you can set up a boulder and a plank, and then you can drop a chest onto one side and it like shoots, catapults you away. Like, there's just all kinds of crazy stuff you can do. The physics-based puzzle, there's not just one way to do anything. There's a myriad of ways and possibilities to do every single thing in that game. And then you got games like Skyward Sword with an amazing, amazing story, and every game in the series just has such a different art style from the rest of them. They all look really good. And you got Majora's Mask with that amazing dark atmosphere and amazing side quests that really do build up that world and make it really believable. You really feel for the characters that are about to die from the moon crashing into the world. So, and every game feels different, but it feels like there's no quality drop there. Even though every game feels slightly different, there's no quality drop. And how can I not mention one of my favorite games of all time, perhaps my second favorite game of all time, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. I have so many great stories and just memories of me playing that game as a child. You know, I kind of played that game when I started to get good at games and not suck at life, you know? So I just have so many great memories of just being even on the first island, just running around and grabbing pigs and getting money, throwing it in the pen, and having that snotty-nosed kid run at you and you being legit scared for your life, you know? And it's just all this great stuff, and exploring the vast ocean and the amazing, amazing art style, especially in Wind Waker HD. Yeah, which I feel like is even better than the original in many ways. This series, just every time they make a new entry, it feels that much better, that much bigger, that much more explorative, that much better in pretty much every way, or at least in one specific area. They just nail it. They go for something, and they pretty much always nail it. I mean, there's not really any bad Zelda games, except, you know, the Zelda CDI games. But those aren't actually official Nintendo games, so I don't count those. But as far as, like, legit, official Zelda games, you know, mainline Zelda games, I don't think there's ever been a bad entry in that series ever. They're always really, really good. There are some that are better than others, but at the very least, every game that comes in the Zelda series is good. And there's so much more room for it to evolve. The next entry, even though Breath of the Wild is amazing, I already see so many possibilities for that game to be even better, tell a better story, have more dungeons, have more cities, you know, have more runes perhaps. That's another way you can just expand the game. There's a lot of different ways that you can expand on the formula, and there's a lot of games out there like Call of Duty. Like, how do you make that better? Like, you can't really see that. Like, it's tapped out potential, but there's no, you know, end to the Zelda potential, which is why it is my #1 favorite series from Nintendo of all time. Anyways, guys, that's all for this video. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this Monday through Saturday, and live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And let me know down in the comments below, what are your top 5 Nintendo franchises of all time? And I'll see all you guys later on What About Nintendo. Bye!